The last 10 years or so that the farm's been in operation, and then my son Ben is going to finish off with the plans for the future. So, this is just a few of the highlights, and to just kind of give some thoughts as to why we started doing this journey of madness that we embarked on. And to give some of the high points and maybe a couple of the low points of the time that we've been doing it. So, when we came to Spain 20 years ago, there was a big wife Rosemary, two sons, Ben and Nick, and we had an idea of old Cortijo, nice plot of land, to be able to do something on, grow some stuff and whatever. And that's what we did. We bought an old Cortijo, and we had an olive field at the rear of the house, which was about half an acre or so. And we never actually got around to doing the growing thing, because we were doing the house up, we were working, life in general kind of takes over. And so it was quite a while before we actually said, now's the time to do it. I think the catalyst for that was when my daughter joined us, Emma. She joined us with her two girls, Jessica and Felicity. And suddenly there were a few more hands to put to work at the house. And so we said, okay, well look, let's now revisit that thing that we originally thought we might do and see if it's feasible to do it. So we came up with a plan. And the plan was an 8-point plan, sorry, I lost count. The first thing we wanted to do was rejuvenate the older trees, because the older fields kind of at the back of the house, it was really easy to ignore it for almost 10 years, because we just didn't have the time and all the rest of the stuff. But the trees had got into a little bit of a solid state, and we were feeling quite bad about that really. So the first part of the plan was, okay, well let's look at the older trees, let's see what we need to do with them, let's get them back on track and start growing some homes. The other thing that we wanted to do was to grow vegetables for ourselves, have some animals on there as well. So the next part of the plan was erecting fences that would keep the animals away from whatever crops we were growing, and obviously we needed to build housing for all the animals that we were going to get. So, first thing, chickens and ducks for eggs and meat. We had a little bit of experience with chickens in the past, when we bought about 5 to keep in the garden. And we learned quickly that you can either have a garden or you can have chickens. You are never ever going to get both, because these 5 chickens decimated every single plant. We did get some eggs, but there you go. Also, once we got the chickens and ducks, we incubate the eggs, keep the stock fresh and rolling. And we wanted to get some goats to produce milk for us and cheese. Grow some fruit and vegetables, and get some rabbits for me, because rabbits are superb producers of meat, very cheap and plentiful. So, that's what we did. So, our first plan. Oh, sorry, and some crops to feed the animals. That was number 8. The first one was to rejuvenate the olive trees. We were looking, when we bought the house, that we had an olive field. It was about 80 trees. And each tree is surrounded with a circle. Each circle is connected with
Channel.
Thank you. And it goes from row to row to row to row. The other thing we were really looking was when we bought the house, we also became owners of water for Rita, which is where we live, which means that we get irrigation water at a very, very cheap rate, and it's also quite plentiful. So what we wanted to do first of all was to get some water to the trees, because as I say, we had collecting sort of quite badly. And so we went down to the local barn, we found petrol the water man, we paid him his money, he comes up there and says, right, that's the time your water's going to go. And it's all through a series of seconds, which water channels that go way, way up into the mountains. And the water comes down those, you pay €20 or whatever it is. On your allotted time, water comes down the channels. You walk to the person who's having the water before you, change the sluice gates over, that brings it to your land, and then each row of all these trees has its own sluice gates, and so you open them one by one and the water flows down. That sounds really simple and easy. Trust me, it's not, because you totally lose control of the water many, many times. It floods out here and there because the sluice gates don't quite fit and all the rest of it. And sometimes it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark, and it's cold, and you're soaking wet because you stood in the water and didn't realise it was there. But good fun, really good fun. And so that's what we did. We apart from really redefining the circles on the trees and clearing some of the channels, we didn't actually have a lot to do with the others because they're pretty hardy trees. So we said, okay, well, let's get watered and then see where we go from there. So that was the first part of the plan. We then started looking around the farm and building fences to keep the animals in. We put 6-foot-high chain link right the way around the other field. And then it was all concrete and foxes and all the rest of it. And then we started looking at some houses. There's a little pig. And that's 2 dogs on top of another big house. Quite while they were there anyway. And so that's what we did. So we cut about a third of the field off to grow crops. The rest of it was individual pens for the animals that we were going to get. This was a goat house. Somebody very kindly said to us, we've got a shed stroke summer house there if you like it. The only thing you have to do is come and take it apart, transport it, and put it back together again. And so we did. And it was like a big jigsaw puzzle. But fortunately, our youngest son Nick,
That's Ben.
Not there, but, our youngest son Nick came with a brilliant plan. And as we dismantled it, everything was numbered C1, C2, C3. And we go back and miraculously all went back together again. So that was the goat house. I have to say, it doesn't look like that anymore. Because somebody once said to me, goats will eat anything. And it's true. And they've eaten the house. So they've slowly but surely all the walls there, and slowly but surely the rivers come down. And it's now this now. And we still feed them.
Yeah, we don't know why we still feed them.
So we started to get some chickens and ducks, and as you can see from there, we didn't actually just stop at chickens and ducks, because we've got turkey as well. These are musky ducks, brilliant meat producers, great egg layers, heavy birds, and they're mute. They're very, very little noise. Really strange because you expect them to, do what ducks do and make noise, but they don't. These are some of the, this is a kind of mix of, it's lovely to let the hens lay and settle their eggs, but they're not great parents, really, the mums. They're kind of okay, but you lose a few, they go out through the fence and all the rest of it, or they're completely ignored. So we've got kind of a mixture going on here of eggs that we incubate incubator for ourselves, just to give us a little bit of control over what we're doing. Some of the hens hatch themselves, that's just a mom and her little chicks there. There's a duck, I think that's a muscovy duck. Yeah, that's a muscovy. These were the
Aylesbury's.
So fantastic, they're lovely. Really lovely. Okay. And then we got, somebody gave us 2 goose eggs, which we incubated ourselves, and they turned into Ronnie and Reggie. I kind of our guards on the olive field. They rule completely the olive field. And if there's anything that they're not happy with, they really do let me know. I mean, they are brilliant guard dogs. But what was happening was they both male. And when the chickens hatch, their little chicks and they're running around, the geese would take them off the parents and look after them. It was really strange. And they would get a bit feisty as well, because geese can get a bit feisty. So we then got some more eggs off somebody else, and we hatched 2 females. Unfortunately, slightly different breeds, so they don't mate, but they've got the females and they're more than happy with that. The goats. The keen-eyed monkey will realise that doesn't look often like a goat. The good reason for that is the sheep. When we decided to get the goats, we said, okay, we'll see how long we'll go. He comes past twice a day, and we'll say, give us some babies, and we'll buy them off you. And so I said to him, have you got any babies for sale? He said, well, yeah, I've got this one here. Mom's just died, so it's an orphan. You're going to need some bottle feed, but, you can have it for €30 or something like that. And we had her a fortnight. And then Ben said, that goat has got wool. And we realised it was a sheep. So, very early on, that was quite a good learning curve for her, really, because the only thing where you say, you do your research, do more, recognise the sheep and the goat, for goodness sake. These other guys, we actually got some goats, and all of them were born when they were about 3 weeks old, all bottle fed, which is great fun. And they're good fun, the goats. They're actually more well behaved than our dogs when you take them for a walk, because they stay with you. And they will maybe wander maybe as far as Steve away from you. But they hear a noise and they don't know where it is, and they're right back with you. And they're quite well behaved until you get into the pen to try and clean it out, in which case they're jumping on the wheelbarrow, jumping on the wheel. They are a bit on the rascal side. What we needed to do with them was to get milk. And you can't get milk unless they're with kid. But what we didn't really want was a male goat, because they're smelly, they're cantankerous, and they tend to be a little bit hard work. Fortunately, our neighbour had a male goat, and so we came to an arrangement with him where we would borrow his goat for a fortnight, he would sort our girls out, and then he'd come home and everybody's happy. And so when we introduced to you the infamous Bill. This photograph was taken just as we told him that he was going on a fortnight's holiday, and all he needed to do was service 3 beautiful female goats. He seemed quite happy about it. And so, we had success. And he did the business. And we got the baby goats, and they were wonderful. Funny thing, because when we realised the dogs were pregnant, I've watched a lot of TV programmes and things like that when sheep and ewes are coming into lamb for sheep farms, and it seems like really kind of hard work because they're there, they're on it, they're helping, they're doing it. Because this was kind of my first rodeo, my first thing into this. we were a little bit unsure about what to do. So our local government came in, had a look at the goats and said, they're getting close. So we needed to keep a real careful eye on them and make sure that they were okay. And so we erected a tent outside their pen. And between 6 of us, we took 4-hour shifts, day and night, to make sure that somebody was there when they gave birth. This went on for 3 weeks. And farmers was becoming a little bit painful and a little bit tedious because you sat there at 6 o'clock in the morning and come on. We went up to do the feed one night, about 5 o'clock, and we put the food down for her. Turned around, heard the noise, turned around, let it go. Like that. And they've always done the same thing. I don't know if sheep and goats are different in that respect, but they just go, doom, and there you go. And so apart from us giving her a bit of a rub with some straw, dead easy. Yes, sorry, next one please. And so we started to get milk and cheese. One thing that is not easy with goats is milk, because, well, they're just so kids, they really are. So we built a milking station. And it looks like a torture chamber, but trust me, it's not. It's a platform. This piece here goes out, put food in, lift the goal, because goats can climb and jump anywhere apart from where you want them to be. So you lift the goal on, go for the food, close out gently onto the end, and then you can milk. Then all we've got to worry about is the feed. As you can see from this photograph, this bowl has probably been kicked over 5 or 6 times already. So, you know, you get 1 litre of milk and you're probably still 6, but you know, it is what it is. And so we have our goats milk, which we drank, and it was beautiful. And we made lots and lots of cheeses from it. So, next one please. Some of the fruit and vegetables we grew. We did the tomatoes the first year. We had more tomatoes than you could ever believe. We were coming down with buckets like this every single day to the point where my wife was saying, Jesus, not more tomatoes. But we made sauces out of them, we made everything, lots of stuff out of them.
Chutneys.
Chutney, and it was fantastic. We grew corn, Arboleas, onions, garlic, we grew mackerel.
Oh,
Now I always thought that they were made of them. There's a song.
Is that?
Where it goes. Well, there's a song about mackerel, a kind of jokey song. And I always thought they were just a made up thing. And they're not, they're brilliant. And we grew loads of them, not for us, they're really used for animal feed. But they're absolutely brilliant. So we had loads and loads of successes. We had some disasters as well, because one day we had some really, really high winds. And we went to do the feed in the morning, and the fence that separated the crops from the animals had blown down. And so there were no crops. There were some very fine animals, no crops. So a few disasters, but absolutely brilliant. And, you know, we grew quite a lot of our own stuff, so it was great. The rabbits, incredible meat producers, and they're cute as buttons. I know they're cute as buttons, but we were trying to run a farm and attain some kind of level of self-sufficiency, so it's necessary for us to be able to produce meat even from a very keen thing. When we do slaughter our meat, believe me, it's the hardest thing in the world. And it's the worst thing about what we do, but it's what we do. And so it has to be done, and it's done in the best possible way. So just sort of drop that ring. Yeah, irrigation. Just going back to this because things changed a little a few years ago. You can see the system of the trees there, the circles and the troughs and all the rest of it. And this was our main sluice gate to allow the watering. Now, it could well be that when you pay your money for your irrigation water, the petrol comes round and gives you a slip of paper to say that's your time for water. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, depends how many people before you are buying water that week. It could be a beautiful, sunny Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and that's wonderful. Or it could be 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, which is nice in August, because it's still nice and warm and all the rest of it. In January, not as much fun. So, times have changed a little bit now, because the system of irrigation, which goes miles and miles and miles, has been there, Lord knows how long. But you get cracks in it, you get leaks in it, the sluice gates don't quite fit, and this, that, and the other. And so our little water group decided to kind of modernise it a little bit. And so that really consisted of laying tubes for the water in what were the irrigation channels. And this gets now hooked up onto a meter. You can see the Caspel walls, so it's just in glaze, for our tap. It's not as much fun doing it this way, because it was something nice about walking around with a hole, making sure it's going where it should go and all the rest of it, even if it was 3 o'clock in the morning. It is much more efficient, and it's a lot easier for us because basically now we decide when we're going to irrigate. We go, we turn our tap on, and the water comes. So it's a lot better for us, if slightly less fun. Yes, olives. The first year we irrigated, we started irrigating the trees, would have been probably about October when we actually started. By the next year, the trees had transformed, just from the water, because we hadn't trimmed them or didn't do anything, just from the water. And when you have the olives pressed, if you've got 500 kilos or more of olives, you can actually book an appointment with the press. They will stop the press, clean down the huge trunks, and they will press your olive oil, your olives into your oil. The reason we wanted to do that was, there's a lot of the trees are sprayed and chemicals used and fertilisers and all the rest of it. And we wanted to just keep it as natural as possible, really. And so we were really chuffed the first year when we got about 500 kilos, we were able to have our own pressing done. And it was it's a good experience, you go down there, and you see your olives going up the thing there, and you see the weight going up, and it's like, oh, what, 490 now? Oh, yes, 500. And then they do the pressing, whatever they do, and then it comes down into these big metal drums with a little tap on it, you get your things, you turn the tap on and your olive oil comes out into your bottle, and it is fantastic. Really hard work picking olives. Hard work getting them to the press because they're in pretty great big crates, and I'm not the biggest person in the world, so it takes 2 or 3 of us to carry the crates. But the very first time we got home, and Rosemary baked some bread, and we had some olive oil, and dipped the bread in, and tasted it. All the pain went away. I forgot all about it until the next year when we had to do it again, because it was just delightful. Loved it. And so we've sort of done quite well over the years. I think our biggest crop was something like 1,200 kilos, which I think produced about 200 kilos, 200 litres of olive oil.
Yeah.
Apparently, our olives are very high have a very high density of oil. Nothing to do with us, we didn't plant them, we didn't choose them, well, thank God somebody did. And so sometimes you can get 2,000 kilos and still produce less oil than ours do at 1,200 kilos, so that's the math of it. So sometimes, you know, we've got some great days as well. And it is, this year's totals, 0,
Yeah, 0.
Out of 80 trees, we've got one with always on. They are more than that, but one tree with on. We haven't seen that for 10 years with no odds at all. And I was just talking to Steve earlier on when we were having a break, and he's in Britain to say, oh, I think a lot of people are that. So olive oil's going to be doing this year. So the whole thing really with Olive Tree Farm was that it's been a real family affair. My sons, my wife, my daughter, all the grandkids, all take some part in it and are involved in it and know what we do and why we do it and how to do it. So I think it's good for them as well. And it's been the last 10 years have been great. We've had some horrible things, but we've had so many really, really good things. And so, on that note, I'm now going to hand you over to Ben, who's taken over the reins of Olive Tree Farm with his family. And Olive Tree Farm continues to be a family affair. Thank you.
Right, so what's next? Well, let's find out, because my wife did this, so there's going to be some new things in here for me, I'm sure. Well, over the years, as my dad was explaining, there used to be a lot of us. There are quite a few less hands now. My sister's gone back, my brother's gone back, they fell in love, they moved away. And so it came down to me and my dad. So we let things dwindle a little bit. As chickens got old and passed on, that kind of thing, we didn't go mad restocking, we let them raise a few of their own, hopefully some hens that will continue laying, that kind of thing. But over the years they've got old, and as we're starting off now, the first thing we want to do is start restocking laying hens. We went to our local feed store, lo and behold, they had a couple of white star hens outside and plenty more out back. So we started already with that. We've already got half a dozen new layers. Whilst we're in there, we happened to spot that they have a lot of chicks as well. And as we haven't done this for some years, because it's been down to me and my dad and the working and all the rest of it, we decided now's a good time to start again. So we grabbed 5 2-year-old chicks, and we're going to grow them on, and hopefully this year we may be leaving out the traditional turkey and having one of our Sundays instead. And of course, the hens lay beautiful large white eggs, which I absolutely love. Pigs. We've had some pigs over the years. If you don't know about pigs, highly intelligent animals, quite fantastic to work with, however also quite destructive. And if they want in somewhere, or out, they're going to get there. We've had fences lifted, they've brought chicken houses down, you name it, pigs will get into it. Fantastic, intelligent, but quite destructive, and also excellent mothers. Hence, the numbers grew. There's not as many of us at home now, as I've said, but even if there was, we couldn't eat that much pork. So, we've got quite a lot there at the moment, but through some of my Spanish friends who also have small holdings, secure plots of land, we've talked and they're going to come up, we're going to rehome some of the pigs with them. And the reason that we're doing this is because we really want to rejuvenate everything up there and almost start fresh. So this is one of the big first things that we need to do before we can move on. As soon as we've got that done, we want to automate the water further. So as my dad says now, obviously with the new system in place, it's much more convenient. We do it when we want to, which is great, but also during the summer, we've got animals up there. So what we want to do is basically set up a series of timers, like many of you will have in your garden for irrigation, that kind of thing, only on a larger scale. One, it's twofold for the trees, but more importantly, to ensure that all the animals up there have regular running water, especially during the hot months, because obviously we're working, we're busy, we've got kids, and it can be quite a challenge to keep on top of everything up there. And with what we want to do, this is an important bit for it. And right down at the bottom of the olive field, we will have a feed there for something else that we want to do in the future. So as my dad explained, ups and downs. We've had fantastic times with both ducks and geese. We've also had some horrendous times over the years with the likes of foxes, wild dogs, and again this is one of the things that impacted what we had up there. And again, because we've been working so much, we didn't want to put more pressure on ourselves right now until we were in better control up there. But in the future, at the bottom of the olive field, I want to do a proper large duck pond. Twofold really. Hopefully for the geese and the ducks to be able to breed and nest themselves around the water's edge. But also I feel like it will be a secure place for the animals to get to. If something gets in, the ducks, the geese, they can get to the middle of the pond and nothing's getting to them. Don't get me wrong, they've always had baths up there. That's just one more of those things every day between you. Bucket of water out of a massive big pool so that everybody can get bathed and then filling it back up. It's a daily thing because believe me, you get down to the bottom and you've got 3 inches of mud in there and it's just a hassle. But God love them, we do it for them because they love it. So the pond in the future will be a massive change for us, and it will make it way better for those guys as well. Housing. Again, these are going to be some things that my dad's just covered in a way because we're almost restarting everything. So I mean that one, yeah, that box isn't too bad. Unlike, as my dad said, the gold house. Several of the housings over the years have become weathered, pig damage, you name it. And again, because we've got sort of had less and less animals, it's like, okay, well we don't need that pen right now, we don't have to worry about that. But because we've got plans to increase stocks again, this will be the next part of our challenge. So we need to rehome pigs, automate water, and now begin to renovate housing, even though we have already stocked with some animals. But for the other things we want to do, we really have to put some time into that and just bring everything back to life there and just renew everything ready. And like previous, we love the turkeys, we love the rabbits. Again, the ups and downs, foxes, dogs. We have lost turkeys, we've lost our ducks, the rabbits. Even though everybody was vaccinated, again, one of the ups and downs, they've been fantastic meat producers, beautiful animals, but if they get sick, you're done. And so we've had a 4-year break. So as a down, we couldn't keep rabbits for 4 years, but now we are ready to start again. We've actually just renovated the main pen and all the cages. We're just looking at getting new waters, feeders, and all that kind of stuff. So these will definitely be coming back in the future. I said there'll be some surprises. Yeah, guinea fowl. Oh, okay. Guinea fowl. We're getting some of them. I thought there'd be something really for me. To be fair, we've had a couple, we rescued some, and they're like the next stage of life. So if the geese go, and the geese are fantastic at guarding the place, and the big animals, and you know, they put a lot of other animals off, to the point where they beat the pigs up basically. If we tell a goose off, that goes and beats a pig up just to let everybody in the field know that they're still in charge. And the guinea fowl make an incredible sound. So if you don't hear the geese, you will hear these birds. But I do believe that Liz wants this time to not just have a couple of old rescue birds. I believe that you want numerous, don't you? Apparently the meat is fantastic. If you've ever tried it, let me know. I personally haven't, but apparently it's the best kind of chicken.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to order that, right? Yeah, greenhouse. So again, initially when we were all there was lots of hands on deck. This was fantastic and it was used a lot to start plants off, ready for moving up into the main veg patch, that kind of thing. In all honesty, over the past few years, it's become a bit of a storage unit for crates from the Arboleas, for bags of compost, for this, that, and the other, but realistically hasn't been in use as a greenhouse for at least, I would say, 3, maybe 4 years. So we're actually really looking forward this winter to get that back up and running, get some plants started. The kids love doing that. We go down to the local feed store and we'll say to the kids, right, okay, Melody not quite yet, but I'm sure soon she'll be picking plants as well and giving me something else to water. Because they are great at picking plants out to grow kids, but the watering of it every single day does get a bit tedious apparently. So I take that. But the kids love it, and this year we've grown some stuff, and they love being sort of part of that. So this will be something good and fun that we can get them back into the plants and the garden and all the rest of it. And of course, they love coming up to the farm. They love the animals. They love hunting the boxes out for eggs, seeing how many eggs each one can collect. It's always a competition until Lucas falls over and breaks two that he's put in his pocket. That happens quite a lot. More than you would think after we say, please walk towards me slowly, Lucas. Yeah, I'm coming. And he's down, and there's another egg on the floor, and I've got to call Penny the pig over to come clean it up. But there you go. All part of the fun of doing it. Okay. So I'm sorry if I was a bit quick here. I might rush through this a bit quicker, I don't know. But, this one. Not unlike the pigs. Highly intelligent, quite destructive, and have a real way of getting what they want. And also, not unlike the pigs, we considered rehoming them. But after people kept sending them back, we decided that maybe a few extra hands on deck in the future wouldn't be such a bad thing. So we're going to keep them. And so, no, that's end of really. Thank you all for listening. And if you've got any questions, please do. Otherwise, keep an eye out on the Almeria Living magazine, where my wife Liz will be now taking over from my mum writing the article. And let's see how many of these plans, how quickly or how slowly they come to fruition. So keep an eye on the magazine, and mine is also in the back if anybody needs anything to do with swimming pools or any advice on